Shanti Shanti.
When they started, they wanted to please the natural powers so that our life become peaceful. They are all adhidaivika, because not within our control. So how to please them? Then they conceived of this Yajna. What is happening in Yajna? Whatever we are offering, the fire is consuming everything and making it subtle actually. The gross things are made into subtle. So because the powers are subtle and we cannot reach them with our gross eyes, gross sense organs, so naturally we thought that these subtle things will reach the respective God. That is why you are offering in the Agni, and the Agni is taking your offering to the respective gods. If you offer it to Indra, Agni will take it to the Indra. If you offer it to Usha, Agni will take it to Usha. Wherever you are offering, Agni is supposed to take it in a subtle manner. Now there also everywhere there is very wise design behind that. This subtlety ultimately belongs to our mind. The whole thing is operated by the mind. We will come to that further. So the design was that the fire will consume everything, make it subtle and take it to the subtle gods, reach it to the subtle gods. So they were satisfied that our offerings are reaching like that. That was the conception of the Yaga Yajnas. So Havya Vahana is the fire which carries, Vahana means carries, which carries our offering to the respective gods. That is why the fire of the Yajna is called Havya Vahana. You understand? Havya means Havish and the Vahana means carrier. Tad Ajya Bhagau Antarena Ahuti Pratipadayat. This Ajya Bhaga, these details I will not go into. There are in Agnihotra, there are two kinds of flames on two sides, south and north, I think. And the offering has to be given in between the two flames. That is, the ghee has to be put in between the two, so that it burns very well. It has to be consumed immediately. You are not supposed to put oblation when it is a smoldering fire. Smoldering means जब पूरा फ्लेम नहीं है, ऐसे ही जल रहा है, उसमें डालना ठीक नहीं है. हम लोग विष्णु सहस्त्रनाम में कितना बोलते हैं, लोग जो डालते हैं, जो क्या बोलते हैं, नवधान्य जो डालते हैं, उसका आधा बाहर गिरता है. According to Mundakopanishad, if you have faith in it, then they will be taken to the Naraka instead of heaven. It will say, just now it will say. But here we are performing in a general societal manner. There Swamiji's Sankalpa will be operating in a different manner, and we don't want to put all those conditions also, because in this case it will not be possible. But when that was their only job, they did not have anything else to do. Those days they have to do that. So if your only job is that and you don't do it attentively, then you will be naturally, it is not at all right. Suppose here also, if your only job is to come to the class and if you don't come punctually, then it is extremely bad. It shows your insincerity. And if you are insincere, then the result will not be had. This is very simple truth. Whatever we are doing, suppose we are serving in the Annakshetra, we should serve with lot of attention. The whole spiritual purpose is to generate attention in us. Suppose we are serving, one person we serving water so much that the water overflows from the glass. Or somebody has just given some vegetable, the second person comes again put the same vegetable on that, without asking, without seeing that the vegetable is already there. One person they are neglecting, they are forgetting every time. Another person they are 3 times, 4 times they are coming and asking, shall I give you this, shall I? So much so that the person gets annoyed after that. Arey kitne baar puchoge? Hum to bol diya hai. It happens. In ashram it is regularly happening. चाय किसी को इतना ही दिया, बंद कर दिया, और किसी को इतना दे दिया. These are all inattention. Ashram is meant for only cultivating our attention. That is why I say that why यहाँ की इतना खाली संसार की बात तलाब चलता है, क्योंकि attention will not be there. We should be attentive. Wherever we are losing attention, one should remind others that we have lost attention. Whole purpose of all this sadhana is to inculcate attention. Because why are we missing the truth? It is only because of inattention. Pramada, in Shastras it is called pramada. We are missing the soul or the self only because of inattention, because it is everywhere, that alone is there. This table is appearing in the consciousness, but we don't see we don't know the consciousness, we see only the table. Yesterday we were discussing that Nasya Jnanamayam Tapaha. That Jnanamayam Tapaha is that when table is being shown, it is manifest, we are aware of the consciousness alone, that the consciousness is manifest as the table. So by that the consciousness does not get affected at all. It does not get tainted by the table. Then he says, Avaishvadevam. Vishvadeva. Vishvadeva means finding your Lord in everything. Finding your Lord not only in the deity, not only in the fire, but in the entire universe, at least in nature. So part of one aspect of Vishvadeva worship is that you feed birds and animals. See how wise they were. When we become selfish, even the birds are chirping around, they are not getting food, we will not think of them or give a little. We don't care that they are asking for food. We have become so selfish that we are not attentive about the people around. People means not human beings, even the animals around. In our ashram, we started feeding the squirrels and the birds and the crows. There were some gradations. Squirrels will be given first, birds will be given next, then the crows, because the crows will not allow the others to take. I started giving biscuit to the squirrels, then slowly reducing the distance. I would give the biscuit near my feet only. So like that, I think I had to work for more than a month. It could be 3 months also, I don't know. With lot of patience I was doing. About half an hour in the morning I was spending on them. Slowly they started taking from my hand, because I would not give otherwise. I am holding it. As long as you don't take, I will not give. I will hold it and stand. They started coming. Then when they grew the faith in me, they started coming, climbing on me. If one day it is a little delayed, they will come and pull my ear from here. On the on the shoulder they will climb and start biting, nibbling my ear like this. And I used to go for walk those days in the morning. So when I would come back, a full team would come with me. People used to say that Swamiji is going, and behind him, I was not a Swami those days, I think. And along with me, lowermost level, squirrels are moving over the compound walls. At a little higher level, birds are moving over the trees. And still higher level, crows are moving on the higher branches of the trees. The whole team is moving with me, coming to the ashram, and I cannot delay, because they would be very restless by that time. And exact, sharp, punctually at that time I would have to give. We have to be very punctual with animals, because they are punctual. They are not like us. They are not like human beings. Punctuality is their nature. If you don't give, suppose 7 o'clock is their food time. A few days you give at 8 o'clock or 7:30, they will stop coming. They will go to some other place who are punctual. They will not come to you. They have other areas to go. They will go like that. So then they started climbing. Then the birds also started sitting on my lap. Squirrels would sit on my lap and take one squirrel here, some of them will become very pet. One came, 3 days I could not see. I thought that it must have delivered. On the third day or fourth day, it came with the baby on the shoulder. And came and sat on my lap with the baby on the shoulder. So I had to feed it. Then one bird was a lame bird, one leg. It would always come and sit close, because the other birds will attack. So it would not be able to compete with the others. So it would sit just near me and food. I had to feed like that. The moment the cats come, the squirrel would jump and go. So my whole thigh became full of scratches of squirrels. Through the dhoti, it would scratch inside. So the whole thigh was scratched. Now with so much of fondness we grow this animal and feeding and all. Suddenly when our programs increased, we would go away. Now that has completely stopped. Nobody comes there. Because our other people, when we went up, before we went up, we became busy. Somebody else took up the responsibility. Then they started losing their punctuality. All of us are very... Punctuality nobody has. So they started feeding erratically. When after a long visit in Jamshedpur or so, we would come back, we will ask that what happened to them. Our cook will say that they have all gone to eat mangoes. That is the season of mangoes there. By March, mangoes come. So the cook would it is just fooling me, saying that they have gone to eat mangoes. I knew that they would not come back. Then again after some time, those days after the vacation, we would again try and they would come back. But after that, when others took it over, they did not pursue it further. 1 or 2 persons did it lovingly, but thereafter, the whole thing has gone from the ashram. So our ashram has come down in that Vaishwadevam we are not feeding. So this is very important. Avaishwadevam, that is one who does not consider the Lord in everything in the world and do the corresponding practices, of which part is the feeding the animals and birds. This part of the Vaishwadeva. There are other things also, tree plantation, etc. Everything is there. I don't know all the details. Then avidhina hutam, that is given without the proper method and so, not following the proper injunctions. Asaptamams tasya lokan hinasti. For him, all the 7 worlds are spoiled. And Agnihotri, who does without following this, for him, the yaga will not serve its purpose. Rather, he will lose all the 7 worlds. It will work negatively. Then there is a shloka which beautifully describes the flame in the Homakunda. See, because they were doing it sincerely, they have described each kind of flame with a name. There are 7 kinds of flames described here. When you are attentive to something, you start discussing everything. When we are attentive to the squirrels, our squirrels had names. Swamiji used to say, can you identify? I said, yes, I know who is who. No, Ma used to say, no, you are just saying like that. I will prove. I will prove that who went there and who is coming. We will put some mark. And once it happened that one squirrel, somebody held that one boy was there. Suddenly they became very faithful about human being. To others also they were coming. And this boy caught hold of the tail. So the tail broke. So now it became very easy to say that my Gablu has gone there, my Gablu has come there. I used to call Ma and see that. I used to say that he is going to Kananam. Today I saw him in Kananam, now he is without tail. You can see and go and see that Gablu is eating there. So what happens is that when you are attentive to the animals, you will give names to each animal. Even the crows you will know. You will be able to, all crows are not same. The expressions are different. Some crows are very naughty. Some crows are not. They are good birds also. Kali karali jamano javacha sulohitaya cha sudhumra varna Svulingini vishvaruchi cha devi Lelayamana iti sapta jihvaha. See, the flames are called the tongues of fire. The flames are there like the tongues of fire. So the ahuti has to be given to the tongues. As to taste, we put it on the tongue. Suppose you put it directly to the stomach, you won't have the proper digestion also. Like that, you should not put it there. It should be put at the tongue of the fire. There are 7 tongues, and each in the yagas it will be described which tongue is to be fed in which manner. That means so much of attention will be necessary. Which ahuti to be given to which tongue. They have described the 7 tongues here. Lelayamana iti sapta jivhaha. These are the well burnt flames, the 7 flames of fire. Who are they? Kali means black. Some are dark flames are there, bluish black flames. Kali. Karali means fierce. Very fierce looking flame. Manojava. Manojava means which has the motion of the mind. Mind is the swiftest. The moment you think of USA, you have reached USA. So it is the swiftest thing. They are swift like the mind. They are called Manojava. That means some flames you will find that they move very fast. Those are called Manojava. Sulohita. Some are very red. Very good red. They are named as Sulohita. Sudhumra Varna, some are having the smoky nature. So they are called Sudhumra Varna, the color is of the smoke. Svulingini, in some cases you will find from the flame sparks are coming out. Svulingini is their name. Vishvaruchi, they are so beautiful that everybody will like them. Vishvaruchi is the name of the flame. So these are the 7 names given to the flames, and they have to be satisfied with your this saptajivha, the 7 tongues have to be satisfied with your offering. Some more, then they will start degrading all the rituals and saying that plabahiyate adridha yajna rupaha. That the other side of it they will say. These are all frail boats. So don't think that it is the ultimate. They are only to be practiced to discipline your mind. Those who say that this is the ultimate and there is nothing like self-knowledge or so, they are avidyayamantare vartamana swayam dhiraha panditam manyamana dandramyamana pariyanti mudhaha andhena niyamana yathandha. Those who say that karmakanda is all and there is nothing called jnana or anything, they are like blind leading the blind people. If one blind walks, there is some probability of falling in the ditch. But if a blind man is leading 11 blind or 10 blind persons, then if one of them falls, then all of them will get into the ditch. The probability of falling is much more. So they are comparing that with the ignorant people, those who think that this is the ultimate. There is nothing called knowledge. Sam karne bhishnuyama devaha Bhadram pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangaihi Tuštuvamsastanubhihi Vyashema devahitam yadayuhu Swastina indro vriddhashavaha Swastinah pusha vishvavedaha Swastinastāksho arishtanemihi Swastino brihaspatirdadhatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Did up to the 4th shloka of the 2nd chapter, where the 7 kinds of the flames, 7 kinds of flames, that Saptajuha, the Homakunda has got its 7 tongue. Beautiful description of the 7 flames were given. And we were discussing in general about the purpose of these rituals and what they mean, etc. Actually, if you go into the entire spiritual sadhana, as I said, the purpose, whatever we may do, whether it is idol worship, deity worship, or Om worship, or scriptural studies, the purpose of all sadhana is to make the mind one-pointed. The divergent mind, which is always clinging and repelled by various multiplicities, infinite variety, to make that mind convergent and one-pointed. Once that mind becomes one-pointed, then that focal point, that one also to be dropped, so that the mind becomes what it is in its pristine form, that is the consciousness, the soul, or the Brahman, is the same. Now, if you go into the details of the Shastras, why were the Shastras written? It is only because there is a scope for self-improvement. The purpose of the Shastras is always to elevate ourselves. Uddhared atmana atmanam. Otherwise they would not have been written. It is not just to give us some theoretical knowledge about ourselves. And if you look into it, you will find everywhere the purpose is to make us responsible for what we do. Even the so-called mythological concepts, the imaginary heaven, hell, punarjanma, and so many other things, as I said earlier also, they are also actually, it is not just indulging in imaginary things. They are also given to make us responsible for our deeds. So in a way, actually it is to emphasize the causality in the world in every sense, the gross as well as the subtle. See, the gross causality we don't have to be told, as I explained earlier also. And the gross responsibility also nobody finds it difficult to accept. Suppose we will not thieve because although we are greedy, we will not thieve because we know we will be punished. We will be caught by the police and we will be put in the jail. Nobody has to tell us anything about it. If a glass of poison is given, we will not drink because we know that by taking the drink I will die. And I know the effect of it. These are all causality. If you drink poison, you will die. If you thieve, you will be taken by the police. You will be put in the prison. So nobody has to be told about it so much. But when it comes to the subtle psychological causality, normally people are not able to conceive of it. Normally they are not able to know it. And even if you explain the subtle psychological causality, they will not accept it immediately because they don't have the subtle buddhi. Why? As I said the earlier days, we are under the influence of Rajasika and Tamasika effect so much that the subtle Viveka, which is a product of Sattva Guna, I think yesterday or day before I discussed in detail. The Viveka Buddhi, the subtle discriminatory power, it is a product of Sattva Guna. We lack the Sattva Guna, so we are not able to understand it. We are overcome by the greed. Suppose poison, we will not take. But when we are saying that thinking ill of others, others' defects, blaming others, constantly criticizing others is also a poison for the mind. Everybody, if they are thoughtful, they will understand. Nobody is happy thinking of the defects of others, blaming others, because it causes stress in the mind. Whereas if you love others, you like that love very much. Who does not like to be loved by others? Everybody, we will be happiest when everybody loves me. But at the same time, should we not love others then? When we love others, automatically I am under the influence of love, then we will not look for others' love. We will be happy with our love. When the love oozes out from our own inner being, we will be happy with that. We will not look for others. Whether others love us or not will not be a problem, not be a question at all. But we don't do it because we are under the spell of the other influences, the Rajasika, Tamasika influences. We go on blaming, criticizing, and all kinds of disturbing thoughts we go on nourishing in our mind. Although we know that we like it, when it comes to this subtle form, it is also a poison. Slowly it is poisoning me. Suppose if we go on thinking of others' vices, defects, then actually we will harbor those defects. We will become, our mind will be full with those defects. So whenever we are criticizing others, actually we are inviting those defects to me. By criticizing the other person, nothing is happening. I am only getting spoiled by that. But these psychological subtle laws we are not able to appreciate. That is why the Shastras, they create some imaginary mythology. The mythology is not fully myth. It is a logic based on the myth. That is, they are done with lot of ingenuity. That how to fool these foolish people. By creating foolish stories and imagination, the foolish people are fooled. That is an intelligent method. That is what they do through all these things. Heaven, hell, nobody has ever verified. Nobody can verify also. Even Punarjanma, nobody can verify. So such things which are not experientiable, neither can you prove nor can you disprove. You cannot prove, but can you disprove? You can never say anything about it. Whether it exists or not, you do not know. So to imagine various kinds of heavens, hells, we are not doing anything wrong. You cannot disprove it. Now, picturing that and telling that if you do this, you will be taken to this world. If you do something good, you will be taken to this world. If you do a different kind of good, you will be taken to another world. If you do still more sinful things, you will be fried in oil after your body goes. All those things are there. Various kinds. There are thousands of heavens and hells. More number of hells, I think. Heavens are very few. Some 5 or 6. Hells are about 1,000 hells are there. For different, because our sinful deeds are infinite in number, but good deeds are very little. So all these are discussed. to make you responsible about what you do. That we should understand. Here, this is the crux of the matter. Otherwise, this, our self-will, our self-effort, that will not get the prominence. By saying that doing this, that will happen, you are becoming responsible for your deed. You cannot say that it is destiny and it is God has done this, God has done that. Even in Punarjanma also, that is one major point, other than the other points which are also important, I discussed last time. This is also an important point to make you responsible for whatever you do. Suppose you are suffering and you don't find any cause, relevant cause, all the scoundrels are progressing, are living very peacefully, very happily, and being honest, I am suffering. Such questions will come. So to console the mind, we will say that in the previous life you had done something wrong and you are having the result of that, to link you to the causality. And what is the purpose? It is not to make you indulge in the previous life, but to tell you that now you do good so that the next life will be all right.